time for another wrestling podcast.
All right. Are you fucking kidding me?
Guys, I got blocked again on Twitter.
I'm your mark of marks.
That's the most reliable source on the interwebs.
The social assassin at your disposal, bitches.
We had a show last week, but something happened. I think it's a conspiracy. Somebody's listening in on our calls because we're telling the truth about what we're seeing every week in pro wrestling.
It's a show that will never be heard.
Never. It's one of those things. Patreon. We got to get that going. We kind of have something on there, but we don't. It's not live yet. So maybe when we do shit like that, and fuck it, just give it to people who actually give us $1 a month or something, or whatever they do. I don't know, guys. I don't even know what the hell we talked about. I've been so busy, been running around trying to catch up on everything I can. I'll tell you what, though, I did not mind Raw. Like I didn't hate it. Something about it. I don't know what it was. It just, I enjoyed it over not exactly every minute of the 3 hours, but I didn't hate it as much as in the previous weeks. And honestly, I can't even go back to almost every specific, but I don't know. It didn't bother me this week for some reason. What's happening?
It was good.
Yeah.
It was definitely a good. I mean, I didn't watch it live, and I think they've given me that vibe to not watch it live because of how they've been previously booking it. But I ended up watching. Okay. Anyway, that shows how much Scooter really loved Raw. Anyway, yeah, I didn't hate it. I mean, I got home and all I wanted to do was watch an episode of Game of Thrones because for all the people listening, I'm officially caught up to Game of Thrones. I'm done with it by now, but at that time I still had a couple more episodes.
Watching it, and then I kind of bring you by. We'll never get Cooter, but I'm glad you're in the final round.
Cooter is never gonna watch it. Cooter doesn't like giving things a chance. He just wants to crap on it before he even watches it. But yeah, no, I wanted to get in an episode of Game of Thrones because I was so close to the finale, which was disappointing, but we're not going to go there. But then I ended up watching Raw, and I'm just like, this was actually pretty good. Like, I mean, I like the story that they gave Seth throughout the night, and just giving him a little bit of an edge.
Yeah, the whole chair and everything, yeah.
Yeah, everything else just, they did pretty good with the booking. I really liked the Fatal 5-Way. That was a great match.
If we're really going to nitpick and get into it, I think the only thing that's bothering me is this whole fucking wild card shit. To where I feel like all we're getting is the same people every week on both shows. And I want to make a chart or a list of people that we just don't see every week because of this. And I'm kind of curious because, I mean, the rosters are huge and you kind of see somebody 5 minutes here, 5 minutes there. But, like, there's been constants from Daniel Bryan, Kofi Kingston's, McMahon, Shane McMahon. I'm trying to think, of just going back and forth to where, if I'm going to nitpick, that's the only thing that's bothering me. I feel like I want to see two different things when I watch two different shows. Like, I want to see the Raw stars do whatever they do, and then I want to see the SmackDown stars. When they start going back and forth too many times, crossing the waters, crossing the streams, I'm like, it's starting to become one show now. You know what I mean? Like, now they're just one show. There's no division of what defines SmackDown or what defines Raw almost, and that's nitpicking it though.
Yeah, my nitpicking really, because the one thing I've been enjoying about Raw, and I don't know how you feel about it lately. I know Cooter doesn't like it, but is the Firefly Funhouse. It's been something that I really looked forward to every week, but I don't like how they just promote it. And like, oh, coming up next.
I know.
And then you have Michael Cole hyping it up.
Like they're really trying to grab those ratings. Just let it be spontaneous.
It's got to be one of those things. Remember back when Bray Wyatt was about to debut on the main roster, and they didn't announce when his vignettes were coming up? They would just be in the middle of something, and all of a sudden it would cut into a Bray Wyatt promo. And it just randomly came back to the announcers, and they had nothing to say. They were just kind of freaked out by it. That's how this Firefly Funhouse should be popping up. It should be just like in the random moments, just pops up out of nowhere. No I don't need Michael Cole telling me the wacky and loony Firefly Funhouse is up next. Like, I don't need that.
I know.
Like, give me like sporadically.
That sounds like desperate to
It takes
me.
away.
Yeah, it's
It
a little
takes
bit
away.
desperate of like, hey, please, it's coming up next. Don't change the channel, kind of a thing. And it's like, relax. If you just did it spontaneous, people would stay tuned to find out when it would actually come up. But somebody talked about that in a group we're in, Facebook.com/group/Pro Wrestling Marks, free and cheap plug. But somebody posted that like, between him and Alistair Black, their promos. I think we mentioned it kind of last week, but I think it's almost like get to the point already. Like I don't hate them. I don't hate the vignettes. It's different. You know what I mean? But I want to see how this translates to the ring because I really feel like they're really putting this on a high pedestal now. That when he does debut, it's almost got to be a home run to where it wasn't like two promos. You see him on TV, another promo. He's on TV. Do you think it's, you know what I mean? Like they're setting that bar very high to where he better jump over as soon as he lands on Raw kind of a thing. It doesn't make sense. It's almost like the NXT syndrome, you know what I mean? Like it worked in NXT, but it didn't work on the main roster.
Yeah, and I think what they're doing on the main roster is completely different from what they were doing in NXT. They had Alistair Black booked perfectly down in NXT, and he comes in the main roster, and now he's just trying to have someone pick a fight with him. Like it's like that one guy when you go to the bar and that drunk asshole that nobody likes, and he starts talking shit to you, but he's like, hit me first. You hit me and then I'll hit you. Like one of those guys. That's what Alistair Black is starting to remind me of. One of those guys.
Yeah.
It's just, this doesn't fit Alistair Black. I want the Alistair Black that was booked down in NXT. I don't want this guy that's sitting in a dark room every week just talking to himself, maybe talking to the camera. And you want to fight, go get a fight. That's basically what it is. Don't make people come after you. You go get it.
Yeah, so that's what people were talking about in the post, where there was like, do you like him? Do you hate one of them? What's going on? And I'm like, Alistair Black was fine. He didn't need these promos. I mean, rising up like a fucking dead person and then walking. That was like it. Like that entrance alone was fine with me. Like I don't need him doing these promos and just kicking ass, taking names kind of a thing. And it's like somebody didn't get it. I feel like somebody in the main roster, working backstage, Kevin Dunn will blame, didn't get it. Like, what? I don't get it. We need to see some promos, and that's why I feel like that he's doing this, and he doesn't need it. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
And then Bray Wyatt.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Hold on, I got a question for you. Do you work for the WWE?
I don't work for the WWE.
Because the reason why I asked that is because you just said their slogan, "Kicking ass, taking names," which I heard a million times on Raw and on SmackDown. Stomping Grounds, we're kicking ass and taking names.
Oh my God, it's been in my head subliminally. Like I heard it, and that's why I just brought it back up. Like they're brainwashing.
You just said it, and then it just brought back like bad memories of Michael Cole saying it, of every superstar adding it in their promos somehow. Did they got you under the umbrella too, Greedo?
I think it's like the Manchurian Candidate.
Is this podcast like sponsored by the WWE that we have to at least say it like 1,000 times before the end of this show get this show over?
I don't know. It's ridiculous. But Mike, you enjoyed Raw. I enjoyed Raw. We got Seth Rollins versus Daniel Bryan. That's a great main event kind of a match, you know what I mean? Like regardless of who wins or who loses, like these are the kind of matches they should be having. And it was just like I said in the beginning, it was something to where the past few weeks, if you listen to us show after show, we're like, what the fuck's happening? What's going on? This is shit. It's like barely watching it, and it was, I don't know. I can't put all the pieces together, but I didn't like everything, but at the same time, like I enjoyed it this week, and it's like baby steps maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, and you know what I really liked about the Daniel Bryan versus Seth Rollins is that, and sometimes you can do this where you don't need a story, you don't need anything. Just put two guys out there and let them wrestle. They promoted it. There wasn't really a story why this match was happening. It was just happening. Now, granted, we know it was happening based off the fact that they're desperate for ratings, so they promoted the shit out of that match. But at the same time, it's like you don't need a story all the time. You could just have a match on Raw that doesn't have anything behind it, but can put on a compelling story in the ring, and that's what those guys did.
Yeah, man. Now, if for those of you who are tuning in and have no idea where Angry Cooter has been, he's been having computer problems. So, in the art of the podcast, we just kind of went with it, Mike. Kept going with it. So we're trying to invite him back in and see what he's gonna be pissed. I feel like he's gonna be pissed. Okay, so the thing is, he has like 3 or 4 different Skype names, and he's lost every single password. So he's trying to find that one password that goes with that one email that he has, and he's going through like the whole list. And I'm trying to add him, and as I type in the thing that he gave me to type in, I have 2 different accounts that show up right now of who he is. So, Scooter,
Hold on.
Calling me on the wrong one.
we're trying.
Oh God! Listen to me. So, you know what I was doing before, like, all this shit went down?
What's that?
What?
I was watching an old-ass episode of South Park.
Okay.
Remember the one where they made a fucking boy band and they called it Finger Bang?
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of which, isn't Ricochet going up against Samoa Joe for the, what is it, the U.S. title this weekend?
Okay.
On a pay-per-view?
For clarity in this.
Oh, okay.
Oh, my God, you slow mental midget.
No, I see. I didn't see any videos. I briefly heard it, and I ignored it. And the reason why, it's all coming together now, because the reason why I ignored it, because some troll was talking about it on the group's page. So I just took it as a troll just being a fucking idiot, and I completely ignored it. And then I briefly looked at my Facebook messages, and I have that moderator group. It's muted sometimes. Yeah. So I saw it, and I kind of brushed through it a little bit, and I saw someone talking about Ricochet and finger banging, and I just now it's all coming together now.
Oh, way to kill my punchline. Thanks, Mike.
Well, for those of the clarity to this, if you didn't check the interwebs, brought to you by Minority Mike, that's right. Ricochet leaked nude something, finger banging orangutan at the local zoo. What? I don't know. There's a lot of banging and fingers, and it made me think of that old fucking thing. That's why I just said I was, fuck a duck, screw a kangaroo, finger banging orangutan at the local zoo. I remember that shit from like 5th or 6th grade. It's in my head. I remember that over fucking. Anyway. But yeah, I didn't Google it.
These people, I don't understand. Yeah, I didn't Google it either. But I mean, you think you'd learn from Paige? This hacker used to be Mike Cologne's like hero because first it was the Paige leaks, and then he screwed us over with the Charlotte leak, and Mike got real mad because that's a crooked ass titty. Then he redeemed himself with the Victoria leak and the JoJo leak. So now he's like got 3 good ones, but now you got 2 bad ones because this Ricochet one, that's a bad one.
Yeah, he was the ultimate heel. What was it, 2 years ago? He's the ultimate heel, and now he comes back with the ultimate Hulk Hogan heel turn on us. It's completely just we hinted we didn't know who the newest member of this crew was, and then this guy comes in and just throws that out there and completely turns on us.
It wasn't a heel turn; it was a whole turn.
I know who released it. It was the Shin, Tessa Blanchard. She's trying to get back at him for succeeding in the WWE.
Oh my God! Oh,
well,
poor guy.
Poor guy. Moral of the story.
I'm never gonna look at the 620. What is it? The 630. I'm never gonna look at that move the same way again.
I did
Whatever
hear.
The fuck. Yeah.
Did hear he asked Jericho to use his code breaker as a second finisher because he was getting tired of doing the 630 or whatever. I don't know. Every single time. So
yeah, I don't blame him.
Because Jericho gave him the grace to use the code breaker, whatever they do. But it's like, I don't know. Do you really have to ask for permission? Is that?
I think it's only right to ask for permission.
He's the only one that's using it. You know what I mean? Like,
well, Randy Orton asked DDP for the Diamond Cutter.
I remember hearing a story that Balls Mahoney had some matches on, I think it was like SmackDown or Raw, and he was using the super kick. And at the end of the match, Taker pulled him in the back and pulled him in the corner and said, you shouldn't really be using that kick without talking to Shawn about it.
Ooh.
As a finish. And
then Balls hit him in the face with a chair and said, "Fuck you."
No, he actually listened and stopped using it.
But see, here's the thing. Wouldn't you go to the man who, like, used the move first?
Oh, yeah.
Wouldn't you go to Shane Helms, not fucking Chris Jericho, who stole it?
Yeah.
Ah.
You know, what you make me think about, though, is funny, because it's like we look at the WWE or any wrestling show from the outside in to where we don't know the finish, we don't know what's going to happen kind of thing, right? But for things like that, I wonder, like, at times where people wouldn't just stop doing somebody's move or something to that effect. And I want to know those times where people just got, like, sandbagged purposely or, you know, fucking shit that we don't see, but in the ring they can kind of, like, answer it in their own way of, you know, stepping back on, you know, people's toes if they're doing something wrong, like, you know. Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
Didn't Tensai Prince Albert sandbag Ryback? Like when Ryback was trying to lift him up for that Feed Me More, Prince Albert, or no, it was Tensai at that time. He kind of sandbagged him, and Ryback couldn't lift him up, so he had to finish with like a clothesline.
If you Google that, like, there's tons of fucking things out there, and I think recently too was your girl Lacey Evans sandbagged Bailey. She went to do the what is it, the belly to belly whatever thing, and she went to go lift Lacey, and it was like lifting a fucking sack of potatoes. Like, it was, she didn't even like jump and, you know, do it for her. It's on there.
I don't think it was a purpose. Like, I think they just didn't have the timing and the coordination correct. When it came to that Prince Albert one, like, he legit was sandbagging Ryback because Ryback tried like 3 or 4 times.
Cooter, wasn't there a funny story about Hardcore Holly, like, fucking somebody up in the ring because of something, like just knocking him out or punching him in the nose or something?
Wasn't it Matt Capitelli?
I forget. It was Hardcore Holly.
Wasn't it for laughing or something like that? It was on the episode of Tough Enough.
Oh yeah, it was Tough Enough. That's right.
And then there's the famous. God, who was the other?
Rene Dupree.
No. It was another Tough Enough winner who Holly beat the shit out of in the Rumble with like Eddie Guerrero. They were taking turns.
Oh, Daniel Puder.
That's the other one. They lit his ass up, bro. Oh my god.
And then when Holly beat the shit out of Rene Dupree.
Yeah.
Daniel
I
Puder.
remember hearing that
first,
story.
One of the earliest guests of EWP, believe it or not. Saw him at a convention.
Another cheap plug by Credo.
I don't know, just memory lane, guys. It's just we're talking about such random shit because I feel like the past few weeks, like from the show that happened last week that never was.
Oh, I know.
So it's just like a lot of random shit going on. But Cooter, tell me what's going on. What did you find out this week, or what's been going on in your wrestling world you could share with us? So maybe we got some answers or insight for you.
Of some insight from me, the only things that I actually found entertaining were same as the week before. The only shows that I really paid attention. Now, I watched everything, sort of. I mean, it was in the background. But I mean, dude, Raw and SmackDown it's a chore, and it's fucking terrible. Like the best shows were 205 Live and NXT. I mean, 205 Live, and they didn't even have any of their big stars out on that show. It was just a better wrestling show. It's sad when I would rather watch Lucha House Party versus the fucking Bollywood Brothers. Like, for real, bro, this was better than anything that happened on Raw or SmackDown because it didn't drag.
Yeah.
See, Raw wasn't that bad. I don't think it was terrible.
No, yeah, Raw was good this week. I feel like something happened. It was, like everything we said before, I think when you were out a little bit, but it was something. I enjoyed it. I don't know.
Yeah. I liked what they did with Seth. I mean, I don't want to sound like a broken record. I did like that. I didn't watch it live, though. As I said earlier, I just, I had so much stuff going on, and I caught some other stuff, but I ended up watching it, and I didn't think it was terrible.
What about the minute changes as Cesaro, his entrance? Because I feel like that kind of an entrance, I don't know, it seems like a nice little push because he's had some stupid fucking songs before, and it's a nice, like, it's like a main eventer entrance kind of a thing. They finally like gave Cesaro something since
it looks like a superstar.
Yeah, right. Yeah. It actually looks like one of their main guys, and I don't know, it's something. Especially those matches with Ricochet.
This contract must be coming up,
Gotta kiss it, gotta stay, baby, gotta stay with us.
But see, that's the thing. It's like, why do we even care about his entrance? Because they'll give him like a little baby push, and then they'll find another reason to put Shane on the television. Or anybody.
His entrances the past couple of years, this is a blessing compared to all the horrible shit he had before.
Of course, anything's. Well, I mean, come on. His entrance with the bar wasn't completely terrible. It was a decent team. I know Credo hated it because it was one of those teams where it was just two random guys thrown together, blah blah blah. And meanwhile, they were fucking awesome as a team.
They were, but it wasn't Cesaro's song. It was Sheamus's song.
It was a mixture of the two.
I feel like he's been stuck in tag teams too. Yes. Really, since like Tyson
All they had
Kidd,
was the siren in the beginning.
That's right. That was part of his theme song. I don't want to.
And actually, you know what? They stopped using the siren. Actually, I remember they had it before. Then they just went right into the music now.
Whatever.
Well, it's a decent change, I'll tell you that. But what about? I still can't get over. What? Tell me, do you guys like this whole Nicky Cross trying to be normal and let's make her look like a decent girl on TV or something? To where, what happened with her just being fucking crazy and what? Like, why? That's such a 360 change for her. Like, it's not like she's going from totally crazy to a little bit of just a heel, but she's like, they flipped the switch on her and like fucking pulled her hair back, put some makeup on. It's like, what the fuck? Like, you just totally took out who she was. Does anybody even like that about what they did with Nicky Cross? Because she still comes out like a crazy person, but it's, I don't know.
Funny? That's one of the few things about the main roster shows this week that I actually did like. All right, it's different than what we were used to of Nicky Cross and NXT, but it hasn't been completely boring. Like, I got a feeling if they do the same old same where they make, you know, Alexa Bliss turn on her because she just uses everybody like she did with Nia Jax and Mickie James, like Bayley pointed out, then it's gonna suck. But if they do something different, like maybe we get a Bayley heel turn because she's a little bit cocky now, or something along those lines. You know, it might be, the payoff might be worth it because it's probably the best written thing they've had all, honestly.
Yeah, I don't have an issue with it. I'm liking, you know, how she's kind of being taken advantage of by Alexa because that's Alexa's character. And speaking of Alexa, I don't know if you guys, you know, watched the promo on SmackDown with her and Bayley, but that was great.
Yeah,
that was an amazing promo. I mean, you took Moment of Bliss with Alexa and Bayley. When I heard that was going to be on SmackDown, I kind of took a step back because remember the last time they had This Is Your Life, how terrible that segment was.
Oh yeah.
But they made up for that because that promo where Alexa was like, "You were all that down at NXT, but now I'm living the career that you always wanted." It just the way she just delivered that promo, it was just great.
All right, so
that whole "you peaked in NXT" thing, that was the good line. And then fucking but Bayley's counter of, you're just using Nikki like you used Nia Jax, like you used Mickie James. So it's like, which way is this really going to go in the end? It's the one thing that's caught my interest.
All right.
But do we need it on both shows because of the way that we're supposed to have a brand split?
That's done, and I'm sick of them saying, "Oh, there's a wild card rule in effect." Like it's the same fucking people on both shows now. And then I told Mike earlier, I was like, I want to make a chart or just a list of people who they don't use every week, to where, you know, there's an article out too, somebody wrote about the whole Shane McMahon backlash, to where he was a good as like in the background enhancing people that weren't doing anything, but now like calling him the best in the world, beating Roman Reigns, beating, you know, all these other guys, and it's like, what's the end game with this? Because a lot of people are fearing that they're gonna fucking give him the WWE Championship, and it's like, really, are we really going down that road again, to where you have all these fucking talent and you're fucking, you know, shining a fucking spotlight on the boss's son kind of a thing? Is it? This is what's standing apart of bad wrestling and good wrestling. It's like, this is what happens when you don't have competition kind of a thing, right?
Did you see Rusev on Twitter talking about it?
No, I didn't. What'd he say?
He was just replying a bunch of people, and one of the things was like, how hard is it for you to see Shane McMahon on TV and you not, you know? And he goes, it's not. He goes, he's the boss's son, and period. He just says shit.
Yeah.
And he says it as short as possible, so it's like there's a lot to be left for interpretation, so it could go either way. Like, you don't really know what he means, and I don't think he gives a fuck anyway.
And he changes Twitter name too.
Fuck anymore.
What is it?
Yes, the push is coming.
The push is coming.
The push is here.
No, here comes the push.
Yes, here comes the push.
I love Rusev.
And another guy, like that's another guy. Look, they're not even using every week because of this. But I don't know. There's a whole thing about the whole backlash. Does it bother you guys to where should this whole Shane thing just be on one show, but now it's just going back and forth to every show, and he shouldn't be one of the fucking wild cards that should stand out every week? I don't know. Is this where we're talking about, like, you need the competition, you need that AEW or somebody to step up and, like, take him off the screen? What is he adding?
Well,
Oh God.
the Shane stuff, I don't know. I'm kind of over it. I really am. I mean, I know what they're doing with this. I get it, but it's a fucking terrible submission game.
Yeah.
I mean, when the Miz tapped out to his triangle, I just threw my hands in the fucking air and just really, it's fucking terrible. I don't know, man. I'm not into Shane. I don't really pay much attention to it anymore. He kind of lost me after the Miz program, and it's really all I gotta say. Sorry, it's not as much, but it's
that's exactly why they shouldn't be doing this. Yeah.
It's so much going on this week, and we still got to talk about Stomping Grounds, where they kick ass and take names.
That's what's funny. Yeah, that's exactly. I mean, like that's it. That's exactly the point.
I don't even want to talk about Stomping Ground. I want to talk about Rusev on Twitter. That's what I want to talk about. And now that at WWE Big E is back on the road, at Rusev can continue his reign as the WWE Twitter 24/7 champion. And here's his reply: "Are you implying that Big E can't multitask?" Fucking great. His Twitter game is sick, bro.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about Shane McMahon. I don't even want to acknowledge him anymore.
Well,
he's done.
So what is Stomping Grounds even replacing? Because yes, that is true. I don't even know if I even want to talk about this because half of this card was fucking Mania matches or fucking the greatest Royal SmackDown Live or whatever in Saudi Arabia, whatever the fuck. Like it's just the same matches that happened over there that they're getting over here now, except let's just throw a cage on it or I don't know. Seth Rollins versus Baron Corbin again, guys. Can't wait. Rematch.
Guest referee. Who do you guys think the guest referee is going to be?
Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar.
No.
That's the only thing that would have to be.
Corbin, no, Baron Corbin's the person that allegedly is supposed to pick the guest referee, and that wouldn't make sense for him to pick the guest referee being Brock Lesnar, especially with Lesnar having the Money in the Bank briefcase. That'd be stupid. Reason why is stupid because if I was Corbin, I wouldn't pick the guy with the Money in the Bank briefcase to count the 3 count, because then I have to watch my ass now that I won the title. That would be that.
You're gonna have to watch your ass anyway.
I know, but you don't want to have Lesnar right there, ready to go.
Wouldn't you rather have him in front of you as opposed to sneaking up on you? You know what I'm saying?
I don't want him anywhere near me. At least when he's coming, you hear his music, and instead of freezing like most of these wrestlers do, my ass is running through the fucking crowd.
Fucking
you'd be running through the crowd if fucking Hornswoggle was running at your fucking monkey
Good
ass.
Good one, Cooter. That was it. Give him a round of applause, everybody.
Thank
Give
you.
him a round of applause. Good one.
Well,
anyway.
So a mystery ref. So we'll see if I can. But once again, that's just a rematch from the last fucking pay-per-view. What about this?
Hold on. Let me ask you guys a question. I want to see how you guys feel about this because I was hearing people discuss this, and it's a pretty decent topic. And I want to hear your opinion. So a lot of people were saying that what if Corbin, out of all people, because Seth is going around taking out everybody that Corbin talks to as a ref, what if Corbin got the okay from the McMahons and decided his mandatory referee is Becky Lynch, and Becky has to call the match right down the middle?
Ooh.
Because they have been fucking playing that shit back 2 times right now. Like once they stared at each other, then the other week they even said it on Raw, something that they're a couple. I'm like, really?
They've recognized the relationship a few times on air, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, it's
so
gonna
now
suck when that breaks up, man.
Becky has to call that match down the middle, and if she doesn't, she loses her title.
That's a good fucking prediction. I'd bet money on that one.
A lot of people were talking about that, and then I also heard people talking about, imagine, after the match, let's just say Brock comes down to try to cash in, and Becky gets in Brock's face, and you got the stare down between the man and the beast.
Oh my God.
That would make the pay-per-view worth it, I guess. What was this replacing? Does anybody even remember? I don't know what it was replacing.
It was Backlash.
Was it Backlash? They got rid of it and moved it, or just?
Yeah, because of the Saudi show.
Oh. All right. Well, okay. So, what about the SmackDown Tag Team Championships? Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus Heavy Machinery. Is it time, guys? Does Heavy Machinery get the gold? Is this what's going on?
God,
I mean,
no.
Heavy Machinery is like the Bushwhack. Like they both need to be like the small dude. I forget Otis or whatever. Like they both just need the Bushwhacker kind of gimmick. And
you guys hear Daniel Bryan on commentary on SmackDown? How great it was.
Thank
If
God
you
for Daniel
have,
Bryan.
go back and watch. That guy is just hilarious on commentary. He brought up the Bushwhackers, and what was the Bushwhackers tag name back in AWA or the
Sheep herders?
Yeah. Daniel Bryan is like, oh, the Bushwhacker. You guys ever heard of the Sheep Herders? That vicious team, and he just kept just the stuff he was saying was just gold.
Man, I don't think it's time to maybe switch the championships on that one, but all right. How about what else? Real quick, the Cruiserweight Championship: Tony Nese versus Akira Tozawa versus Drew Gulak.
That's gonna be a fucking awesome match.
I want to see Drew win. Drew, I want to see fucking him with the championship now. They need like a regular wrestler, not no flippy dippy champion. I want to see the ground game as a champion right now. Drew Gulak.
Was it last week where? Yes, because he was the star of WWE, if you ask me, last week, which was on the episode that we couldn't hear. I mean, he had the great match on NXT versus Kushida. It was a submission match. And then he was in the Fatal 4-Way against, for the shot at the Cruiserweight title. And I forget, it was Oni Lorcan. God, was it Mendoza there? And, fuck. Doesn't matter. He's not and Tozawa and somebody, whatever the fuck it was. But it was a fucking awesome match, and I'm like, Drew Gulak was the best fucking performer on both those shows.
Yeah, I don't know. I just want to see Drew get it. I know it's too early maybe to switch from Tony Nese, but I don't know. Pass it on. Give it to him. That's what I would do. I don't know, like this thing. There's no like anything like, wow, I can't wait for this match kind of thing to me, because you got Roman Reigns versus Drew McIntyre again. How many fucking times are we going to see this match? Like, I don't know, what are they fighting for? Just this, nothing. There's no, like, thing involved, you know? There's no, like, fighting for what? What are you fighting? I don't know. This fucking needs something like you're fighting for something.
And does Shane really need a fucking stable
I know.
of Drew McIntyre and the Revival? It really is fucking shitty. Instead of being in the ring, which they should be, defending the titles. Are they even the champions anymore? Because of fucking, I'm pretty sure they are.
Yep.
Yeah. Instead of being in the ring and defending the fucking titles, they're in a backstage private party with Drew McIntyre and fucking Shane McMahon beating the fuck out of the fucking Wendy's lady over there. What's his fucking? It's ridiculous.
I think it does good for the Revival, but it doesn't do good for Drew McIntyre. Because Drew McIntyre is just a guy that just should be, the guy. I mean, and probably going to the SummerSlam match, but that's going to be your next Universal Champion, in my opinion, Drew McIntyre. I don't think him with. I think Shane devalues him, but I think Shane actually gives the Revival a little more credit than what they've been having past couple months.
Now go back to Raw, Cooter. You just said it. With the whole fucking thing with Drew McIntyre and Heath Slater, I was like, it was just out of place. Like, I didn't mind it, I didn't hate it, but it was so random. Like, he comes in there, wants to do that, but then like he goes out, tries to give him money. I don't know. To me, it was out of nowhere, because I didn't think they'd ever even bring that back up to where they were, the 3-man band or whatever.
We go back a long way.
It's just
long way.
Shut
up and just kick his fucking ass.
It was random. Drew McIntyre, I don't know. But Stomping Grounds, guys. What else was there? I don't know. The United States Championship, I think, is going to be a great match.
Kicking ass, taking names, man. You gotta remember, man, no matter what you say tonight, Credo, you have to insert that in there somehow. We're doing this podcast because we're kicking ass and taking names.
Kicking ass. Well, not to speak of Ricochet again, but he does have a United States Championship match this weekend.
He was kicking ass and taking names.
Yeah, he was flicking his ass or finger banging his ass.
Well, that's just not the slogan for.
How does the song go from that South Park episode? I'm gonna finger bang bang. Yep. Oh, yeah.
That's it, man. I hope he gets over this pretty soon. Look for the signs in the crowd, I guess, for this match, because that should be hopefully somebody can be creative at least for this.
I guarantee you, Felicia Rose is gonna make the greatest sign ever and like put it on Twitter.
Bailey we talked about versus Alexa Bliss. Is Alexa like she's supposed to have? They flew her out to Saudi Arabia. They got denied to have a women's match, and then she was supposed to have a match before that, right? And what was the pay-per-view? Was it not Mania, but whatever the pay-per-view after was? Like she was supposed to have a match, and then they took her out of it. So will she actually be wrestling? She hasn't. When was the last time she even wrestled?
Last week on Monday.
No, I probably passed. I fast forward a lot through.
She was in a tag match with the Iconics with Nicky Cross, which is why they furthered that storyline.
As you can see, I didn't pay too much attention, but I still enjoyed it. I still enjoyed the show.
Great job. You did a lot of great prep there, Credo. Good job, bro.
That's the thing. I'm
our best episode ever, guys. This is just as good as that episode where I was drunk, and
it's hard to decipher because like what are we? We're at 226 episodes. Did you change the number? Is it this week 226?
I changed the number. That's right. I did all the show prep this week. Thank you.
Some prep, and man, after 226 episodes, after 5 episodes or 6 episodes, you lose what the fuck you talk about. I can't even remember. Like we had a whole fucking show last week and it got lost. I don't even know what we talked about. I don't know what I talked about because I can't even hear my damn audio. But just to keep up with like what we said from one week to the next, it's a tough job, man. You gotta remember. Got to make notes. Anyway.
So back to Ricochet.
Stomping Grounds.
I don't want to talk about Ricochet.
No more Ricochet for the Knights. But other than that, Kofi Kingston versus Dolph Ziggler in a steel cage match. I think you give it to Dolph Ziggler. I would like to see a change right now because they could always have Kofi win it at. Bring this to fucking SummerSlam. I don't know. Give Dolph the fucking championship for a while. The man has never had a true opportunity to shine with it. He's earned it. Another guy who's fucking earned it. I think someone put it up the tails of the tape or whatever of how many matches, how many wins, losses, whatever through the years. And him and Kofi are pretty much identical, except for I think Dolph has more matches or more wins or something like that. Like a little bit because they were using him more at one time, I guess, but other than that, they're pretty identical for like the length of the career and overall championships and stuff like that. But
you fucking annoy me. You know why?
Why is that? You want to see Dolph lose?
No, because for somebody who hates the whole everybody gets a trophy mentality that we live in today, you certainly want to put the belt on everybody. It's like, you should put it on this one. You should put it on that one. Oh, this would be great.
Like
put it on Kofi. Dude,
Dolph Ziggler, I think, deserves it, though.
2 months go by, and you're like, oh, man, it's time for a title change.
No way. You're thinking about the 24/7 championship.
Bro, you want to throw that belt around worse than fucking Vince Russo writing. Come on, man. You're terrible when it comes to this shit.
Dolph deserves it. He's had an illustrious career.
He's had a title run. He couldn't stay healthy. What can I tell you? Shit happens. Next time, don't fucking bang your head up against the fucking pole or whatever it was.
But I think a good title change would be nice here, so... Stomping Grounds. I don't know. That's our review of a Stomping Ground. Fuck that. I don't know. I'm so worried because as soon as I stop this show, I'm gonna have to go back and like check it. It's gonna go. No matter how bad it is, or what, if we lose all of us, I'm putting it up. We'll just fucking make you listen to it anyway. So maybe you're not even hearing this right now.
I can tell you what we talked about last week. We were making fun of the Undertaker and Goldberg match and Matt Riddle's awesome tweets.
Oh yeah.
Gotta get that fucking Patreon account going up.
Dude, did you watch NXT this week?
Yes.
Okay, in the opening segment where Undisputed Era was in there and fucking, Tyler Breeze came out, Dream came out, Riddle came out, and fucking Adam Cole was making the comments about him going on the internet and critiquing, what was it, Attitude Era wrestlers? Instead of fucking being on, I was dying, bro. Like they fucking let them do anything in NXT. which was interesting because when you look at that article that I put up in the rundown, Adam Cole says he's given a lot of freedom in NXT to say what he wants to say and do what he wants to do.
That's how it should be.
Whereas if you're looking at the other one, whatchamacallit, the other article that I put up from Forbes about them always getting denied when they try to bring up their own ideas on the main roster, it's got to be frustrating as hell. And the last 2 weeks I haven't seen Johnny Gargano, and that makes me worry because somebody like him who doesn't really have much of a personality is not going to stand out on main roster television.
Yeah. 205 Live, baby. 205 Live.
That would be a blessing for him.
It would make the whole fucking show turned up too. I mean, like a name with him, and then just some of the other names that are in there. It's what they need probably.
There's there's some decent guys. They're starting to restock the shelves. I mean, Mike Bennett is down in there. He's had some good outings.
Just signed a 5-year deal.
That's right. And you have my sleeper pick, who debuted last week. That's right.
That's what we were arguing about last week, too.
That's right. Say his name. Say his name, Mike. My
ladies
sleeper
and gentlemen,
pick.
Cooter made fun of me because I've picked Chad Gable to be my sleeper pick.
And he was terrible last year. Now this year, I picked him.
This year,
and he's going to be awesome.
And if you want to go back to the archives, Cooter sends me an archive of him making fun of me by picking Chad Gable as his sleeper pick. Now all of a sudden, he's like, he saw one Chad Gable match, and now he's officially on the Gable bandwagon.
I was very excited. It was the first time I'd seen him in 8 months.
Yeah, well, you know what? Off the bandwagon.
But that's
you don't belong here.
Between him and but there's guys on that roster I would love to see him wrestle. You already saw him in Jack Gallagher. I could see Gable and Gulak fucking putting on a clinic, bro.
Oh my God, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Gable needs to go to 205 or I'm sorry, to NXT too.
I would love to see Gulak versus fucking what's his face? God, we were just talking about him. Gargano. That's another one I would love to see. I think there's Gargano and Gable would be amazing, I think.
Hey, did you guys hear? Mike Kanellis and Maria Kanellis signed a 5-year deal. That's surprising, especially the way they've been used. But you said recently, Cooter, they've been making right by him, I guess, a little bit more, giving him more time. Do you think they will reward him for signing that 5-year deal? Granted, with everything going on right now to where people want to get out of their contract, they're not happy. Do you think a guy that steps up to the plate and says, yes, 5 years, they'll push him more, maybe?
No.
I built it up. And that was it.
But you know what? Here's the thing.
He's such a
Even
good,
if they just give him a good push in 205 Live, there's no problem with that. You know, he would be featured, if not one of the biggest stars on that brand. Yeah. And quite frankly, in his situation, you have a 5-year guaranteed deal. You have, a brand new child. You're a family man now. This is the best move he could have made for himself. Because let's be honest, even if he signs a certain amount of money in AEW, there's no guarantee that promotion is going to be around in 2 years. I mean, I'm not hoping that it's going to fail, but I'm being realistic. I mean, if it doesn't catch good television ratings, it might not, it might not be here forever. You don't know this.
Well, you bring up AEW, and there's one thing I wanted to bring up. They just announced that they're going to not only Fyter Fest is going to be free on Bleacher Report, but so is Fight for the Fallen. So they got 2 shows coming up. One actually next Saturday, and then the other one is on July 13th. Both shows are free on Bleacher Report, which I think is a brilliant move because they need to, put it out there for people to see it without having to spend money to say, hey, by the way, we're going to have a product on TNT come October, so here's what we're going to give you so far.
It's not the greatest of rosters yet, but they're still new. Yeah. They've got some decent names, but you know what? Honestly, Joey Janela does not do it for me. I'm sorry. He's not a star. He's a great fucking indie wrestler. He's a great fucking what's the term Jim Cornette likes to use? Outlaw fucking kind of guy, outlaw wrestling guy. Great. Puts on his own shows, does great. But Dude, him on the main stage smoking cigarettes, he looks like me in the early 2000s. Come on.
Also a former guest of Another Wrestling Podcast, anotherwrestlingpodcast.com. Check out the link for the archive.
Fuck is it with you, Foley wannabe today?
I like to make sure people know that some of these names have graced us in the past, but now it's just I don't have time to fucking get people on the damn show. So we talked to him at one point.
Hey, if you guys want to get me in trouble, we can start talking about Nyla Rose.
Oh my goodness, I don't.
Yeah, let's not go there. Let's stay away.
A different day, a few beers in, kind of a live show where we can't.
We'll do that in the private chat. Let's talk about that.
Patreon account coming soon, guys, where you can hear all the scandalous, racist things we won't say on the regular show.
Thanks a lot, Kenny. Good job, bro.
But no, guys, other things happening though too. I mean, did you see a Bleacher Report about Northeast Wrestling? A nice article written up by a local guy too. He's from Newburgh. Forgive me now because I forget his name, but
I posted it in the rundown, Credo. I did see it. It was fantastic.
Yeah, man, and it's great. It's great to see this because last weekend I was just watching some of the Northeast Wrestling shows you have with Moxley, which was his first independent show back since in 7 years, 5 years, or whatever he's been since WWE. So it was his first independent show outside of Double or Nothing or whatever. He was fighting for last Friday at the Brass City Brawl for Northeast Wrestling, and then the Six Flags show, which was fucking packed, by the way. It's great. You can go for a fucking day to Six Flags and then go watch the wrestling show at night. It's at the Batman arcade, or not the Batman stunt show, whatever arena.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a cool looking arena because it's meant for like a wrestling kind of show outdoors.
Who did he wrestle on the Six Flags show? That wasn't the Darby Allin match, was it?
No, he did Darby Allin the Friday, the day before. So this one he did. It was Big Cass actually.
And Enzo, yeah, that's right.
And yes. I'll tell you what, guys, Enzo and Cass, man, the crowd still love him. He comes out, the fans, regardless of what we know, but anybody else knows, they still love him. Great pops from both of them, and they did. I think Cass had not that bad of a match for a big guy. He looks a little bit bigger, but not fat. It looks like he has more muscle. I think when he first came out, he had some bitch tits going or whatever was going on, but he looks bigger, more filled out with protein, if you will, but not so much fat. Big or whatever.
So what you're trying to say, he's cycling. He's on a cycle right now.
He's on a cycle. But
it's okay. We know what you meant. We know what you meant.
It's amazing how much bigger he looks though than what I feel like WWE presented him, because in the ring against Moxley, like going face to face, like he's a huge dude, and he's gonna. There's nobody else I don't think that really is as big as him on the independent scene right now. I'm sure there is, but at the top of my head, like this kind of a giant guy, so. I think he's going to do well. These guys are going to do well on the independent scene. But once again, Northeast Wrestling, Moxley, Cooter, Mike, you guys are going to the Poughkeepsie show in August. It's like the 16th or something. Prison Break, Moxley versus Pentagon Jr. Another fucking show. That'd be a crazy match. But, guys, that's where we're from, the Northeast, New York. Northeast Wrestling.
Dude, I got to ask you, at the Six Flags show, I know both Enzo and Cass were there, and I saw the video of Enzo taking the dirty deeds. Did Cass work the match as a singles, and Enzo was like his manager, or?
Yeah. So he didn't wrestle.
I don't think Enzo's gonna wrestle anymore. I don't know.
He didn't wrestle. He came out, did his little spiel, and sent Cass to the ring, kind of a thing. And then he came in later and interfered in the match. And but he didn't wrestle, so he wasn't wrestling on that show. Maybe he will in a future show, but. I don't think he needs to. Bro, being a mouthpiece for Cass is good enough.
I remember vaguely on Austin's podcast, right after that whole thing went down, after he was cleared and was found innocent after all those charges that were allegedly filed against him. And basically, remember him saying that I don't think he wanted to work matches anymore because his back was all fucked up and he was having, I don't know if it was equilibrium problems or just like...
Oh yeah,
feeling in his fingertips. Like he was saying it, like wrestling actually fucked him up. I mean, it would fuck up anybody. I would think. But I mean, he took
night after night.
Yeah. He took a lot of punishment.
No, I really want to ask him though. I really want to ask him because they're coming to Poughkeepsie, and the last time he was in Poughkeepsie was his last match.
Last match because
the next night on the Raw 25th anniversary, whatever it was. He was supposed to be there. They
Yeah,
wouldn't
sent
let him in.
home.
That's when the whole thing happened. So I'm kind of curious of what his thoughts are about coming back to Poughkeepsie now. It might be interesting. I don't know, guys.
We might be able to see if I can work something out on that.
Look at that. Cooter's got hookups, people.
No, I ain't got shit.
Yo, by the way, Mark Ruffalo is actually like a block away from me right now. I passed by him. They're filming at the County Players right now.
The Hulk?
Yeah, they're filming some HBO series he's doing, and I drove by him before.
He's been all over.
He was in Kingston.
Oh yeah, they've been all over. They shut down that place over by your dad's house over there. Seasons. They filmed there. They filmed on
Shut down Kingston. They do a lot of filming in Kingston, like especially in the summertime. There's Uptown Kingston is a pretty nice area, and they always shut it down. I mean, they filmed the episodes of Sopranos. They filmed a couple of movies there, and Mark Ruffalo had Uptown Kingston shut down, and he had Midtown Kingston shut down for like a good couple of weeks.
I'm gonna tweet him. I'm gonna say, Mark Ruffalo, you're like a block away from my house. Come on up. Let's talk wrestling.
Let's drink some beers.
Guys, I got the Hulk in my house.
Let's talk about why you didn't fight Thanos.
Why did you bitch out in Infinity War, fucker?
Hooter, good news. Infinity War's coming out again this weekend with some extra footage. You're going to go again?
Infinity War, Endgame.
Endgame. Avengers.
Guess who's going to go see it?
Because you're such a... Who cares?
I
want to see it. I want to see some extra stuff.
You're falling right into fucking Disney's hands because...
You want to know something? I know exactly what I'm doing. And I don't care.
They just want to fucking beat Avatar's record.
And I'm going to support it.
Another Marvel podcast coming
soon. You don't have to tell me that story. I know exactly what they're doing. You know something? I support it. I have beef with Avatar. I have fucking beef with Avatar.
I can't wait till they come out again. I hope he fails so miserably when they fucking come out again. Fucking Avatar.
What, Avatar 2?
Avatar 2.
Why does everybody all of a sudden hate that fucking movie?
No, I've always hated it. Let me explain the story. Let me explain the story real quick, okay? Back in 2010, I want to say, or when Avatar first came out, okay? Me and my bunch of friends, I don't know if you guys ever saw pictures of this, but we were all Power Rangers on Halloween. We had like the legit outfits. I mean, we spent some money, and we just traveled. We had like the Power Ranger Halloween tour, where we went to every costume contest that was happening, and we were winning every.
Were you the Pink Ranger?
I was the Pink Ranger.
I remember you did.
Yeah, I got a lot of ass. I didn't want to be Pink Ranger at first. And then my boy Mario convinced me to do it, and damn, what a great fucking thing. But yeah, we went to this place in Middletown, and the prize was $1,500. So we're like, okay, we're gonna win this. So they did it like a tournament style, not like a cheers here, cheers. Well, they did the cheers, but they had brackets, and we were on one side of the bracket, and the other side of the bracket was a guy, fucking idiot, looking like a Smurf, but he was Avatar. And then you had the ultimate costume that should have won the whole thing, was Optimus Prime, and this guy was awesome. I mean, you put in so much fucking work into this outfit. I mean, he could transform, and it was great. Semifinals come, we win, and we're going to the finals. Then the other semifinals match is Avatar versus fucking Optimus Prime, and I realized that Avatar has a popularity there. I guess he's a regular or works there, and everybody's cheering for him just because they know him as the bar drunk. So we get to the finals with us, and we lose to fucking Avatar. A guy wearing the fucking blue paint was sweating off of him. He looked like a crackhead version of Papa Smurf by the time the finals came in. It was terrible. And we wanted to beat the shit out of this fucking guy because he was talking mad shit. And the best part about it, even though he won, he lost because his drunk ass lost the money.
Man, fucking Avatar.
That's why I fucking hate Avatar. And then Avatar, the movie, cock-blocked me too. That's a different story for a different day.
Patreon account comes soon.
Oh my god. First off, that's the worst story I've ever heard.
Well, you know what? You wanted to hear it, so deal with it.
I didn't want to hear it.
You're the one that asked me.
I guess I did.
You did.
I just didn't think it would be that boring. I'm sorry.
Well, you know something? You asked for it, and it wasn't boring. You're just an asshole.
It's a great fucking movie. I just don't get it. It's not as good as Endgame, I'm not going to lie. But it's a great fucking movie. For its time, A lot happens in 10 years.
For its time, and then like people were
One is
flipping out,
enough though
like,
to
oh,
me. Like I don't need
Yeah.
2 or 3 sequels out of this fucking movie. Like how many, you know?
People were
We had
making fun of
22 fucking Marvel movies, and you're complaining about maybe a sequel or a third fucking Avatar?
I want more Marvel movies. I don't
Oh
want more
my
Avatar
God.
movies.
And people were complaining that Endgame has to re-release just to beat Avatar. Well, you know something, Avatar had to re-release their product too. You guys don't remember that? They opened up and then they reopened again around like I think in the fall of that year and pushed out another couple $1 million.
Yeah. And that was they came out right around when 3D movies was a
3D first
thing.
really
That
started.
was
So
one
that's-
of the
that's
reasons why they blew up too.
Yeah, so that was like one of the first big movies or first movies that was like 3D kind of a thing that you could see in
You know what
theaters.
else was another one? Was one of the Resident Evil movies. Was one of the first. Or at least it was the first one that I remember seeing in 3D in the movies. So it was pretty close. That was fucking awesome.
And I don't think it wasn't the first Resident Evil because I remember.
No. It was literally the fourth one. That
Yeah.
was. It was after Extinction. What was the fourth one? Was that Afterlife?
I don't remember. I remember I was in high school when the first Resident Evil came out and I snuck into that movie. Like me and a couple friends.
Well, maybe this week we can go to the movies, Mike, while Cooter stays home and doesn't see the extra footage.
Oh, cool. Oh, I get to see another tribute to Iron Man. Boo-hoo, fucking hoo-hoo-hoo. Robert Downey Jr.'s dead.
Spoiler alert!
Oh my God! Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! Shut the fuck up! Fucking pansy ass bitches.
Wait
You
a
know
minute,
what?
he died.
Don't edit this part out, Credo. You're a